Today we're going to do a snowman. It's winter. We got a little bit of snow. Hopefully we'll get more so that you can get out and play in it and perhaps build your own snowman or snow sculpture. What I want you to learn, to practice and learn how to do with this lesson is to make nice curved lines and and to have an understanding that you, as an artist, you can look at things from different viewpoints, different angles, right? So we're going to make our snowman, so we're looking at it from up above a little bit and off to the side. It's not going to be straight ahead, okay? Probably like you normally do, draw your snowmen. It's going to be up and off to the side, all right? So that affects how we see things, right? As you're going through your house or if you're taking a walk outside, practice looking at how things look different as you look at it from different angles. But anyway, and then we're also going to do just part of the snowman. We're going to draw just part of it. We're not going to draw the bottom of it, or we don't even know what he's sitting on, that kind of thing. We just want to, this is called a cropped view. And so we can really focus in on certain aspects of the snowman. So supply-wise, you need a piece of paper. You need a black Sharpie, a pencil, and an eraser. And then for the colors, I did crayons, so you can get out your set of crayons. But you can also, if you would prefer, you can also use watercolors, if you would like. If you want to practice with your paints, that's fine too. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, one thing before we get started, you need to find a lid or a cup or a small bowl or plate that we can use for a template for our snowman's head. You don't want it to be too large because we won't have room for his body as well as the hat. So this one is probably 3 to 4 inches wide. So if you can locate something that fits on your paper pretty closely to how I've got mine, that would work out fine. All right. We are going to start off by doing our grid lines again, if you remember that from our previous lesson, where we're going to fold our paper hamburger style. And then we're going to open it up. And then we're going to fold it hot dog style. Okay, so this will help us situate our snowman right in the middle of our page. Okay, so then we open up. Now, again, I am going to be drawing with my marker, but I want you to draw with your pencil and then have your eraser handy if you need it, okay? But I want to make sure that you can see my lines. Okay, now I'm going to do this first by pencil to show you what you want to do, and then I'm going to do part of it with the marker because I need to, we need to erase some of our lines here. So I'm just going to show you. So you want to put your small lid or bowl or whatever you found, little plate, and you want to put it so that here is where your two lines cross. Okay, so you want to have it half up here, half down here, half over, half over. Okay, so it's nice and lined up with those grid lines. And then you want to hold it with one hand. I'm left-handed. You might be right-handed, so hold it with your left hand so that it is right in the center. Okay, now what I'm going to do so it increases our visibility, I'm going to now go over part of it with the marker. And that's what you'll be doing, but just later on in the project. Okay, so everybody should have their circle right in the middle. Okay, now Snow Person usually has a scarf around his neck. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing is we're not going to have the whole snowman in our picture. We're going to focus in on the head and the hat and the body. So this is what's called a cropped view, okay? When you don't see the whole object in it. And if you've tried, if you've edited any photos or anything on a phone, you'll know that they give you the option of cropping. So you might check that out if you haven't had experience with that. So that's what we're going to do. And what cropping does with an art piece is it allows us to provide more detail on a smaller area. Okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to make a nice warm scarf that goes around. So I had some more. Because we're going to have scarf edges, and so we're going to erase part of this line again. Okay, so nice warm neck. Now notice how I have curved. Okay, everything is curved so that our snowman looks nice and round, because that's what a good snowman is, right? Nice, round, plump. Okay, so when you have that done, then we're going to make the tails of the scarf. So it looks like he's got it kind of, tied around his neck. We want to do some curved lines here. And then we're going to do another one that's a little bit longer. So it looks like that. And then when you're done with that, we're going to put some fringe on the edge. So what you're going to do with your eraser now is we're going to erase this line, because we don't see the scarf part that's underneath it, right? We just see the ends of the scarf that are tied up and falling over that. Okay, now we're going to do the body. And if you want to make this a little rounder, you can do that. Again, if you're drawing with your, oops, lost control of my pencil. If you're going to do with pencil, it's a whole line, but we're going to have to erase part of it again. Okay. Now we're going to start working on the hat. Okay. So we want this to look like a nice round hat. And so the body of the hat is actually a cylinder. Okay. A cylinder is like a can. Okay. Here's my little drink here. So it's a can. So we want it to look round, and it has straight sides. And it's rounded down at the bottom too. So what we're going to do, we don't want it just stuck on top of his head. We want it to be down so it's like over his head. You know how you wear a hat. You don't just perch it right on top of your head. So we're going to start off by doing a nice round line there, curved line, excuse me, from one side of the circle to the other. And then we're going to go straight up, straight up. Okay, so this is like the sides of my can. Then from these two, we're going to do the same curve as we have down here. So we're going to echo that curve. okay? Because this is all one plane here, so we want it to be the same curve at the bottom as well as at the top. And then we're going to finish this hat off. A top hat is the name of what this kind of hat is, by doing another curved line, but going the opposite way. So if we go back to my can here, we want it to draw, yeah, so you can see it. We want it so that we can see the top of it just a little bit. And it's not a circle. It is kind of an oval, but with pointier ends, if that makes sense. Okay, now we're going to do the brim of the hat. So we're going to use this curved line for guidance, and this is going to echo it. See, it's staying the same distance away, and then we're going to have it come up here. We don't want it to come here because we want it to look like it's going behind the cylinder of the hat. And then when you're done with that, you need to erase the lines because the top of the head is inside the hat, right? So you're not going to see it. So this is why I want you to get into the habit of drawing lightly, because it's easier to erase your lines. Okay? See, I drew these a little darker, and it's hard to get rid of them. Okay. We're almost done with our drawing. Now, you notice that the hat's at an angle. Everything's at a little bit of an angle from our viewpoint. And so when we do the eyes, we want them to be at an angle too. We're going to follow this angle of our hat. Okay, so we don't want our eyes to be right on that middle line. We want one to be above it, below it, and one to be slightly above it. Okay, so that's how that is all kind of keeping in line with the angled lines of our hat and the head. Now, when you are, I'll slow down a little bit so that you can get those together. When you are working with your Sharpie, you can color those in so they're nice and black. Made from coal, right? So nice and black. Okay, so now we're going to do the nose. And it's a carrot, right? So we want it, and carrots are rounded too. They have volume. And so we're going to have the carrot kind of going at an angle too. It's not going to be straight. It's kind of going at an angle too. And you can make little, you know how carrots have those little lines in them? You can do that too. See how I made those curved as well to keep that whole illusion of curved going. So we've got the eyes at an angle, we've got the nose at an angle, and now we need to do our mouth at an angle too. So I like to do two, see how they go up a little bit, the two pieces of coal that would be at either end. Now you can make the whole mouth coal if you want, or you can just do a smile line. So it looks like that. I'll wait for you to catch up with me a little bit. Okay, now we just have two arms, and they're made out of tree branches, right? So they're not going to be very thick, And we're going to have a couple of little branches coming off the main stick. So we want it to be round. That's the purpose of this lesson, right? Is to have you practice curved lines. And we're going to go straight out. And then we're going to make it look like he's kind of waving at us, right? There's one. And you want to erase that line. Okay, so this is the arm that is on this side of the figure of the snowman, right? So that will be in front of the body. However, on the other arm is coming from the other side of the body. So we start drawing it right here. Okay, notice the difference. This one stops right at the outside line of the snowman body. This one we see because it's closer to us, and so we see all of the arm as it comes out of the snowman body. Okay, so that one looks like it's coming from behind because it is, and this one is in front because it is. Okay, now we're ready to apply color. So get all of your eraser crumbs off of here, smooth out your paper again. Now, if you want to use watercolor, you are more than welcome to do that. If it's easier for you to use crayons, that's fine as well. So I'm going to let you color for a little bit. I'm going to turn off the video and then I'll rejoin you when we're done. Oh, before I set you free to do that, I forgot to tell you to remind you to go over your lines with the Sharpie. Okay, I'm back and I've got part of my snowman all colored. I've got brown to put on the arms. And then I wanted to join back in so I could show you some ideas about the background. Try to take your time with coloring. Or if you've decided to paint, take your time with that as well. One of the things that art will teach you is patience and slowing down and paying attention. And those are all good things to do. Okay. Now, if you're using, I'll make sure I got the right colors here. Yeah, if you're using crayons, and you don't want to color all of this big background. It's not that much of an issue if you are painting and you've got a nice, a paintbrush. You can cover more ground. But what you can do is you can hold your crayon on the side, and you can very loosely color around, but you don't want to go all the way out to the edges. So you can, and you'll cover more territory if you're coloring on the side rather than on the point, right? You don't want it to be, see how I've got to have it random there? You don't want it to be a straight line or anything. You want it to look kind of natural. You just kind of push that color up there. Again, make sure that you are watching where your hands are moving so that you have more control over your crayon. Don't forget to go down here. Now you can do the same technique if you're using your paints, but it's not limited to just crayon. You can use it with, do this with oil pastels and markers, though markers are a little trickier with that. But see how you're giving the viewer of your artwork the sense that it's a nice sunny day, quite frankly, without doing all the work. Okay. Now, if you've got time and you're having a good time doing this, you can go ahead and finish the whole background if you want. But as I said, it's not uncommon for artists to just do a hint of background. Okay. I'm going to add this out just a little bit. It's a little too straight there. Okay, so you can step back and look at your work and see where your coloring needs to be better. You can go over it again, and then you can sign your name down at the bottom. I'm going to put Kathy, and it's 2021. Okay? Good job, everyone.